BBC Radio Leeds. Morning, good to have you with us. It's Steve Bailey at BBC Radio Leeds, taking you through till 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, this week, very exciting. It sees a world premiere in Bradford of an adaptation of a special opera from the Yorkshire poet and broadcaster Ian McMillan, who you may well know is a friend of the show as well. It's not just any adaptation. No, knowing Ian. The Barber of Seville by Rossini has been translated into the Yorkshire dialect. So think posh opera with a Yorkshire dialect, and you wouldn't be too far off, I don't think. Now, you may be familiar that the opera itself tells the story of class, marriage, mischief, young love, and more. But you might not be familiar with this particular Yorkshire twist because it's a new one. Let's have a little taste of it now. Have a listen to the person who plays Figaro in the production. This is Oscar Castellino. Have a listen.
The Barber of Seville, I am. La 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 la. I am a bloke with a way and a will. I am. La 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 la. I love the life I lead, weaving surprises, weaving surprises. When a bloke rises, right to the top, right to the top. Nature has given me a right good apprenticeship by far. La 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 la. The sky has called me its brightest star by far. La 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 la. The sky has called me its brightest star. The sky has called me its brightest star. La 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 la.
Yeah, he is a bloke with a way and a will and is the brightest star by far. Almost, because Milana's in the studio with us as well. But you sound brilliant. Oscar Castellino, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Great to have you with us. I can't believe you sounded like that. Can you just give us a quick blast now in the studio?
La 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 largo.
My goodness, that's amazing. Oscar, welcome to the studio. And you're not alone, as I mentioned, Milana Sarukhanyan is with us as well, who plays Bertha on the show. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
So, just break down opera for us, because I'm not the most cultured person in West Yorkshire. What kind of opera singer are you? Because you get sopranos and tenors and all that, don't you?
I'd be classified as a baritone.
Baritone. And what is a baritone?
Baritone is a sort of middle voice for the male voice. So you have tenor as the high voice, bass is the lower voice in general, and baritone in the middle. And then you have different sorts of baritones. And Figaro is sort of a baritone who can sing high.
Yeah.
And then you have baritones who can sing low, or baritones who can do everything.
And that is you, man. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Milana, what opera singer are you? What category would you put
I
yourself
am
in?
a soprano. Again, there is different types of soprano. You can have coloratura. Soprano is the queen of the night, you know, who sings super, super high. And everybody's like, oh my God, how does she do it? Then you've got high lyric soprano. It's kind of in the same range, but already having a middle voice participation, let's call it. Then lyric soprano, more middle grounded voice of soprano. And so on until the dramatic soprano, basically.
Oh, right, okay.
And spinto, yeah. So there is a lot of types of soprano.
And I have to put you on the spot here as well, because I did it with Oscar. So a soprano would sound like...
Like lyric soprano. Wait.
Okay. Let me start that again. So, Milana, a soprano would sound like...
I'm really sorry. You just caught me. You just literally caught me on the spot. I have so many arias in my mind. Can I sing anything else?
Yes.
Oh, mio bambino caro, mi piace bello.
Oh.
And
Bravissimo.
Sorry, it's a completely
That's
different
fantastic.
opera.
No, I don't mind. It sounds amazing. So we're obviously not both Yorkshire folk here. So what went through your mind when you were asked to be involved in the adaptation of this opera then?
The thing with opera singers is that we could be called anywhere. I could be called to Estonia tomorrow, and then I'll say yes. I'll sing in that language. I have no idea, because we get confidence that we'll be able to pick up something, you know. And people who put up operas have an idea. They'll have people to help you to do that. And the conductor Ben Crick, he's I just listen to how he speaks, and then I know. I know
See,
what
this
to,
is
what
what's
to say.
interesting, because when you hear music and you hear singers, and then they talk and their accent comes through, you don't hear the accent very often in the songs, do you?
And it happens because you modify the vowels. You modify them to make them round in order to make them kind of a dark sounded sort of vowel. For example, oh, it's not oh, it's oh. And then you put a bit of a, brilliant kind of overtonish sound on top, and that's what helps opera singer to resonate very far to the end of the theater, basically.
I get you.
That's kind of the purpose of modification of vowels. That's why opera singers sound completely different when they speak.
They're on stage.
Exactly, yeah.
Amazing, I love it. So I mentioned to Oscar there, what went through your mind when you were asked to sing an opera in Yorkshire dialect then, Milana?
Oh my God, I loved it. I was like, yes, we are getting a very interesting project. I am very actually with Ben on the idea of almost kind of making opera more social, more close to people.
More accessible to people.
Exactly, more accessible to people. Shostakovich said once in his interview, he truly believed that you need to perform an opera in the language of the country where you're performing.
Right, yeah.
So, and actually it makes total sense, because you're bringing the artwork to the audience and they speak in specific language. You would like to send the message and get them into the plot. Yeah. And you can do it only through their language.
Oh, I love it.
That's the reality. And when I heard this, I was like, oh my God, I'm moving to Yorkshire. I just moved to Saltaire.
Oh, yeah.
It was 1 month of me being there, and I thought this is perfect for me right now to actually get into this culture of language.
Yeah, wonderful. Oscar, I mentioned you play Figaro. Tell us, for people who aren't familiar with the actual story of the Barber of Seville, just give us a backstory to it. What's it about?
Figaro is a guy who is the handyman of the town. He can he has a spoon in every curd tart, as Ian puts it, Ian McMillan. So that's a very good translation there.
I like that, yeah.
So he can get things done. So in this play, we have the Count, who is in love with Rosina, who comes from a rich family, but he doesn't want to show himself as a count, so he's in disguise as a young student, and he disguises the different things, and then he hopes that Rosina will still like him, and the Figaro is somebody who has access to every house because he goes and works all over the place, and people like him. So he sort of builds this connection between the Count and Rosina to meet, and then finally Rosina discovers that the Count is actually the Count, and she has a guardian who is the evil guy, also a baritone. So baritone voices are very often evil people. So Arshak is playing that. Yeah. And so the thing is that so we have this negative character as well it comes in the way, and you finally triumph in that way. Yeah.
I see. And Milana, you play Bertha as well. Tell us about Bertha's character.
She is a governess in the house of Dr. Bartolo. She practically raised Rosina from her very early, from her birth. So she is, she's like a manager. She keeps in control of the house. She's constantly running around. You can sort of compare her with Susanna from Marriage of Figaro.
All right.
But she's a bit older, maybe like 35, as what Alex explained me. She's kind of a very not depressed woman, but she's looking for being married herself. She's getting older and she would like to find a partner, and she's a bit desperate, and that's what her aria is about. She's trying to just not be lonely.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I look forward to seeing it at St George's Hall in Bradford, and we will tell people when they can see it in just a second. I've got to mention, because I was looking at your backgrounds.
Yeah.
So I can't believe that you were actually, Oscar, born in a car in a street in Mumbai. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's true, yes.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what an interesting life I would imagine you've led, journey you've had to get to where you are today.
Yeah.
What would you say has been the highlight so far for you?
The highlight was listening to this opera singer in a theatre in India, and she sang to more than 2,000 people, and I'd not heard something like that, and that's what sort of inspired me to try it, because I knew I could have had a voice that could project.
When did you realise that?
That was to 2010.
Right.
Yeah. And then I came and I met her. I eventually got a scholarship to the Royal College in London, and I was a software engineer at that point. So in India, it's completely different.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously you've gone down the artistic. And what is so special, would you say, about being on stage, particularly doing a production like this that people can really relate to?
Yeah, there was once when I sang the Mars anthem in front of astronauts, and they really that's their goal in life. And here we have a Yorkshire dialect opera in Yorkshire, and the people can understand this opera in your local language, and that's something very different.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Milana, you're Ukrainian originally, is that right? Yeah, you're from Ukraine, and now obviously you're in Saltaire, as you touched on. You're a vocal coach as well.
Yes, I am.
An improviser and a vocal coach.
Yep.
What's a vocal coach then? Are you teaching people to sing or sound good?
Yes, I teach people to sing, I teach them how to speak as well, especially for social media these days. It's a big subject. People really like to learn how to speak with confidence, and I am an ambassador of vocal health amongst amateurs, amongst professionals and students. That's what I do as well.
Brilliant. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing the production in full at St George's Hall in Bradford, which is Thursday night. We'll mention it in just a second. But thank you both for coming in. Really appreciate it. And final word, if you were to say to someone who comes to you this morning and says, "Look, opera's not for me. It's not accessible." What would you say, Oscar?
I'd say opera is entertainment, and come give it a chance. It's theatre, it's entertainment, there's a story, and let's enjoy that.
And this time around, it's in the Yorkshire dialect as well.
Yeah, I would say just be yourself. Do whatever you feel in the moment you want to do, and this is exactly what this little hook makes people relaxed. Yeah, when you sit, in the audience and you're chanting, "Oh my God, I can't breathe, I can't do anything." Of course, it's not pleasant, is it? I also don't like to come in the opera if I feel this way. So that's why I like to present to people. Please feel comfortable in your skin, and just be open towards what you see.
Brilliant. Well, the Barber of Seville is going to premiere at St George's Hall in Bradford this coming Thursday, as I mentioned. That's 23rd of November. The premiere is also opening an event at the new Bradford Opera Festival, which aims to make Bradford people open and accessible to things like opera. So it's spot on for you. If you're in and around the Bradford area, or you fancy a trip out, make sure you get down there Thursday evening at St George's Hall in Bradford. Oscar Castellino, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And Milana Sarukhanyan, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent. Really appreciate it. It's BBC Radio Leeds at 11:33.